Greetings swingers and welcome to the first ever episode of the brand new Electro Swing Podcast brought to you by Electro Swing Thing. My name is Offbeat and I'm going to be interviewing artists and influential figures from all across the electro swing scene and letting you meet the people behind the music. In this increasingly AI-driven age, personality and human connection are more important than ever. And while you may know a lot of these people's music, you probably don't know much about the people themselves, and that's what this podcast aims to change. My first guest is none other than electro swing legend Wolfgang Lohr. Not only is Wolfgang one of the biggest artists in the scene with tens of millions of streams across Spotify and YouTube, he's also collaborated with almost every artist in the scene, myself included, and he's also the founder of the label Electro Swing Thing, which at the time of recording has released almost 300 tracks. In addition to all of that, he's also just a super nice, interesting guy, and in this interview I'm going to dive deep with him about his musical journey, his plans for the future, and much, much more. So sit back and enjoy the very first episode of the brand new Electro Swing Podcast. Wolfgang.
Hi.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me on the pod.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here in your first podcast episode. And yeah, great.
Okay, so the first question, I guess if anyone's listening to a podcast called the Electro Swing Podcast, they're probably going to know who you are already. But for anyone who doesn't, can you just describe your music in your own words and give people a little flavor of who you are and what your music's about?
Yes, of course. So my own music is a mix of electronic beats like house, tech house, and old jazz and swing from the 20s, 30s, 40s era. And it's a mix of these genres and styles. So bring up the old jazzy harmonies, voicings, and progressions, and melodized tour club beats, or mixing this with
Stop, drop, let it roll. Don't let go, that feel the soul. Stop, drop, let it roll. Don't let go, that feel the soul. Stop, drop, let it roll. Don't let go, that feel the soul. Stop, drop, let it roll. Don't let go, that feel the soul.
So how did you first get into electro swing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this was, I guess, around 2010, 11, 12. I don't know really. And it was on SoundCloud. So this was the platform for more deeper underground things who wasn't released. And I found a lot of stuff from proudest. So his name was interesting. I don't know, proudest, what is this? And there were some other artists from the tech house music scene. Okay. They made sometimes a track in this direction, in the electro swing direction, because this was the peak time of electro swing around 2010, 2000 until 2012.
Okay, awesome. So Power of Stella was your first introduction into electro swing.
Classical Power of Stella, I think, is like...
I think most people I ask, it's going to be the same answer.
True,
I think he's a gateway drug for a lot of electro swing fans.
The biggest one, like Caravan Palace as well. So, these are the both milestones of the genre.
Can you tell us a little bit about your musical journey prior to electro swing?
Yeah, I started to listen to ska as I was 13 years old. Yeah, with Madness from UK, all the UK bands, Specials, Madness, Selector, and Bad Manners, and so on. I played trumpet later because I want to make this music, by myself, and I learned trumpet. And then I played in a ska band for around 50 years from the north of Germany, from my hometown, Lübeck.
Yeah.
And we toured a lot through German. Yeah, we had German lyrics, so we were not international or something like this. Yeah, and later it's the same scene with the scooter boys. They listened to Northern Soul, so it was the next genre I liked a lot. Old, from the 60s, 70s, so Motown, disco sound. Yeah, and this was my touch with music to make music. To play the trumpet. And later I moved to Berlin in 2007. So I listened always to house and electronic music beside. Prodigy was a big influence of my music listening story. And at the end of the 90s, I like drum and bass as well.
So you've mentioned Power of Stella. You mentioned Caravan Palace. But I would put you up there as well, actually, as one of the biggest artists in the electro swing scene. And I'm keen to hear from you. Like, what do you think is the key to your success?
Ooh, good question. I think the consistency. So to release each 4 to 6 weeks a new single. So I guess a lot of people will see then, okay, Wolfgang Lohr belongs to this genre. And I tried out a lot of different styles. I tried out swing hop things as well. And I did many collabs
Yeah.
with singer with you on the rap part. And yeah, and I guess the scene is very global, so from each country, from each continent. And so yeah, I think the reach is growing with the collabs on the one hand, and on the other hand, the consistency is a good recipe.
Yeah, I'm so
I think,
impressed by your consistency, man. Like, it seems like you've got a new track coming out every week, pretty much.
yeah, thanks. But it's very hard work as well. So
I can imagine, man. Yeah,
to deliver it for such a long time. But
definitely.
yeah.
Well, it's paid off, obviously, because you're definitely up there now in like
It
the
took
top
a long
artists.
time that it paid off, but now I'm in the game.
You as an artist and also Electro Swing Thing as a label are
Yeah.
both fantastic examples of consistency, because you do release very regularly, and your growth has been exponential as a result.
Sure.
And it's not even been around for that long, right?
No, it was a long journey. We started the YouTube channel with the Electro Swing Elite with Fostoni in 2013. But I founded the label, the Electro Swing label, in 2019, and then to make it more professional. And the channel had around 40,000 followers at this time. So
Wow.
yeah. So
it's grown like 150,000 in 5 years. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that leads very nicely onto my next question, which is, how have you managed to grow it so rapidly?
Yeah. I think the same, like I said before, to my releases, it's a mix of consistency. And at the beginning, I had to ask many artists for demos, and they had to trusted me and believe in me. So I have to bet, do you have new demo tracks for me? Would you be ready to release? And at this time, at this point, there were not so many labels. We have not many labels actually for the genre. And so the basic idea was to bring my own music, a platform where I can release my own music, in this way I would like. And on the other side, there were so many other artists without a home, without a label. So this was the idea. Okay, there's many artists with good music, so it is worth to release it. And I think the success or the growth were consistency, and the other artists believed in me and trusted in me. This were the key, I guess, for growing as well.
What are your plans for the label long term?
In long term, the goal is that the label sustain itself, that I could focus more on music only and don't have so much label work and paperwork and this stuff around.
Yeah.
And then the vision is for me, that we could mix up some more genres, or bring the electro swing thing, electro swing genre more to develop it to other styles, like mix with disco or some other ideas, or other genres, and maybe to focus on some other side genres like Balkan beats on the side, or disco to mix it with ska, electro ska. So like this.
That would be very cool. So I think you must be the busiest person in electro swing, because you've got your own personal stuff coming out every few weeks. You've got all of the Electro Swing Thing releases. How do you manage it all? Like, you must be the busiest person in the world. How do you manage to? How do you cram it all in?
Yeah, only with help from other people, freelancer who work for the label.
Right.
So this took a lot of time to find new people, but yes, Lady Dot now, and have one person who did the social media things, and so But at the end, it's a lot of work for me now. So I have a lot of things to do left. But I try to optimize this and to find more time for my music and to minimize the paperwork and the label work. But
because that takes away from the creativity, doesn't it?
But like you said, it's I'm the business person. I can't do it as single person now. I need the help or the freelancers now. So
But you've got a really good team now.
Yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
Obviously, I've released a few songs on your label, both as myself and with the Swing Hoppers, and you and I have worked together on numerous occasions. And we've got another collaboration coming up very soon, don't we?
Yeah, it's a new collab with Offbeat and Emily on vocals. And we will release it in January 17th. I'm very excited because I guess it's more a classical electro swing track, but I think that's what people needed, and it's cool to dive in to the new year with a classical, more classical
definitely. I'm super excited about it, man.
Yeah.
Let's listen to a little preview right now.
So here's a little secret that I think you all know. It's not about the skills you have or your ability. It's all about the confidence and also energy. So cast aside those foolish fears and let yourself be free. Take my hand, you'll understand if you just follow me. Dance like nobody's watching. Let go and feel the groove. Dance like nobody's watching. Make your whole body move. Dance like nobody's watching. Just feel it in your soul. Turn your body on and on. Let the music take control.
Standing by myself and I'm looking around timidly when this pretty girl shimmies in my vicinity. She asks me to dance and I feel hesitant, but I know if I don't then I'll be regretting it. So I shuffle over with my two left feet, and true to my name I'm a little offbeat. She tells me to relax and
so the 17th of January this comes out, is that right?
Yeah, this is true.
Awesome. And it's Dance Like Nobody's Watching with yourself, Wolfgang Lohr, me, Offbeat. And vocals by the fabulous singer Emma Lee.
Yeah, she has a very fantastic voice.
Definitely. And a lovely girl as well. She's going to be hopefully the next guest on this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking forward to chatting to her. But she's a really nice person.
Yeah, she's a nice person, lovely person. Yeah. Very cool.
So hold the date, guys. 17th of Jan, 2025. Dance Like Nobody's Watching. So I want to talk a little bit about the electro swing scene as a whole. You've kind of talked a bit about how you've seen it change over the years. And we alluded earlier briefly to like live events and things like that. When I first got into electro swing, there were loads of events and everyone was dressing up in top hats and little moustaches and going out. But it was also, I think it was probably, this is maybe specific to the UK, but it was very closely tied to like the festival scene as well. So there were it was quite messy, to be honest. Like you picture electro swing and you imagine people dressed smartly, and there was some of that, but there was also a lot of people taking lots of drugs and getting like absolutely wasted in fields listening to it as well. So I feel it's moved away from that now. I don't go to a lot of festivals anymore, so I don't know. Yeah. But I feel like that type of audience has maybe moved away from electro swing. But what about you? What's your personal kind of experience of that and the type of people that listen to it now?
Yeah, the most promoter or organizer canceled their monthly events or parties, so there are not many electro swing events left. And it doesn't. And DJs don't play electro swing really in clubs. Only maybe some 3 or 4 tracks in a set, but not in the main club, not in the temporary techno were played. In Berlin, we have techno around 150 to 165 BPM techno. So this is the point.
Fast.
Yeah, it's super fast. And I don't know if the younger generation, the next generation, is so much into the celebrating electro swing with mustards, with the Fede Boa and the original things, which is very cool because it's an own world and it has more history and design and style. But I don't know if younger people are only more interesting to dance or not to dress up. I don't know. So
I think one of the things that you mentioned earlier is that the people who were into electro swing in 2010
yeah,
are a bit older now.
yeah,
That's 15 years
true.
ago.
Yeah,
And a lot of them have settled down and have kids and don't go out
sure.
as much.
Yeah,
Myself included. I don't
yeah,
have kids, but I definitely back in 2013 or 2012 when I first discovered electro swing, I was going out all the time and like I'd love to go to live events. Whereas now, not so much.
yeah, true.
So I'm probably quite representative of people of our age who were into the music at that time. And I don't know enough people who are of the age to be going out regularly now to know what their experience is like. But my impression is that people don't go out as much to clubs and events and stuff
Yeah.
like that anymore. I don't know if that's a COVID thing or a cultural thing because younger people don't drink as much anymore. But I also know that a lot of nightclubs have closed down in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world. I don't know about Germany, but certainly in the UK, again, in the sort of 2010s when I was going out, there were a lot more clubs than there are now. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, but it's the same thing in Germany. I think Berlin is not really the representation for Germany. So Berlin is very special. Here are many clubs, but many clubs are closing here too. And in Germany is the same with the younger people. The most are, like you said, more, they are not like to party in a club or a disco. They don't want to, maybe they do more sports and go to the gym and
be more health conscious,
be more healthy, work-life balance and so on. This could be the thing. So on one hand, it's the whole thing that younger people don't make much party or don't go to clubs. And on the other side is that the electro swing party scene is broken down. So, but maybe you reach the point zero of there's no party anymore. Maybe people would like to have a party. Even older people would like to go to an electro swing one time a year, so they could make party. They could forget all the daily things.
So we've talked about how it's changed over the years. What would you, if you could change anything about it now, what would you change about the electro swing scene at the moment?
Yeah, I don't want to change anything, but it would be cool if there were more events. So where DJs can play and bring music to new or younger or other people to spread the genre a little bit more. So this is a wish for me. And the other thing is I like the electro swing scene because they are open-minded in my mind. So they are very, always open-minded. I guess some people like more classical electro swing. They are not so open-minded to rap vocals or to too much EDM or too much synthesizers or so on. But this is, I think, in each genre or in each thing you have people who like more the classical.
Yeah, you've always got the purists, haven't you?
Yeah, the purists,
And what do you think the future looks like for electro swing? Can you make any predictions for the next 10 years?
Yeah, very curious or very exciting question. I hope that there will be another moment, like maybe things happen to Parov Stellar or Karen Palace, that one hit is boosting the whole genre again. That we have one thing, one idea or so on. This is working on Spotify or on YouTube or on TikTok. And then we will come in the next wave, so that people are very curious and exciting. Because they maybe knew the genre not before. And so they get attention to it through a new hit or a new spin, and so the people get very curious, exciting, and will listen to more of all other artists, so they could discover the electro swing
genre as a whole.
And
any thoughts on how the sound of it might change? Have you got any predictions about what it might sound like in 10 years' time?
Yeah, good question too. I don't know if younger people combines this with very new styles. I don't know. Maybe they combine it with folk music, or don't know. I have no idea. Or more drum and bass or trap, or it could be in each direction, I guess. So I have no idea.
It's an impossible question, isn't it? Because we don't know what other genres will exist in 10 years' time, but it could be very, very interesting. so let's move on to the quickfire round. What's the thing you are most proud of in your music career, either commercially or creatively?
Most powered. Okay, I think I was very surprised of the Hit the Road Jack thing because
Yeah, of
it was
course.
uploaded on YouTube, and I looked 1 or 2 months later on YouTube and I saw, wow, 2 million plays on this one, and it was very surprising me. And so this was one of the thing who's powered me a lot. And
Just before we move on, that 2 million is impressive, but how many is it on now?
now we have 65 million on YouTube. Yeah, it
which is
grows over the
insane.
years. Yeah, okay, yeah, very cool. At the end, very, very cool. And things like the collaboration with you, with the Swing Hoppers, the party like it's 1920s.
Nice one, man. Thank you.
Release, this is very consistent and over years, so great release. I think it's more the small pieces, the whole entries or the complete entries to the official Spotify editor playlist, or to grow up in other playlists, bigger electro swing playlists. I think it's there are more the small shots, not the big shot.
Yeah, like little wins here and there.
Yeah.
And what about like creatively as well? Because I agree with you, it doesn't necessarily need to be commercially successful to be something that you're proud of. Some of the things I'm most proud of creatively are the things that have performed the worst in terms of like numbers. So creatively, what are a couple of the things that you're most proud of?
Yeah, actually, the disco swing thing, maybe. So, this is a thing of passion, and I'm maybe proud of that. I can work now in the first row on it, so it feels good. But in the past, the not a big shot too, because it's the consistency of the sound. It's getting better. Because if I'm listening to older productions and sound of me, it's very horrible 5, 6, 7 years ago. And this is the thing, I guess, what I'm proud of, because I'm listening now to production. I'm not very d'accord with it to 100% now,
Okay.
but the most things, weeks ago, month ago, I'm totally fine with. So I
Nice.
think, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's the thing I would say.
Cool. Okay. And what are some of the biggest challenges you faced?
I think the biggest challenge was to make a live of music, so I could pay my rent, my life. So to come from a normal job or as freelancer to live from music, this was the biggest challenge and the biggest thought, or the biggest fear to step into this kind of living. So this was my biggest challenge.
But you're doing that now, right? You're living off music now.
I'm living
Yeah.
from music 100%. But it was a long time, and it was not easy. And at the beginning, it was not very clear how this will work. We came from 2009. There were only SoundCloud, no Spotify, and it was a time where the music scene global were really down. Nobody wanted to buy MP3s and so on, and CDs not anymore. And this was a very hard and bad time for music. So and then came up the idea to live from music, and this was not really clear at the beginning. So there were more the DJ time to live from DJ fees and from shows and gigs.
Yeah. So do you think it's easier now than it's ever been? And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but with things like Spotify and Patreon, and there's lots of different ways you can monetize your music now. So do you feel it's easier to make a living from music now, or do you feel that there are different challenges now that make it just as hard as before, but in different ways?
2 points. Normally, or yes, it's easier to live from music now, because you have the Spotify thing, the streams, and you have social media. You can promote your music. But on the other side, it's very hard and very, very difficult to come in playlists to grow your audience on social media. So these two things, it's more democratical. You can release your music with a computer in your bedroom. You produce music, so that's very easy. But I think 95% of produced music isn't heard
Yeah,
So
has less than 1,000
yeah,
plays on
yeah,
Spotify. Yeah,
you're in
yeah,
a
for sure.
big pool of not listened music. So
Mm.
yeah, this is you have the option. The entry is very easy
Mm-hmm.
to release your music and maybe to live from this, but it's very very hard and difficult to get these million plays
Yeah.
and to grow up and build up your audience. So
Wi-
user listeners,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
If you could give your younger self some advice now, what would it be?
To keep more to make or to keep things more simple, so
Right.
music projects or music compositions, so yeah, to find better, clearer, simple decisions, and not to work on 10 elements or lines, melodies in one track. So
Mm.
yeah, to focus more on that a track is working at the end, it has a flow, it has an interesting arrangement, instead of to bring each kind of element in this track. Maybe it could be for 10 more tracks, the idea. So yeah,
Yeah.
keep it simple
Yeah.
is a buzzword, or is a thing I would say or would tell to my older me, younger
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
younger you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we talked a little bit about commercial success versus kind of personal creative success. Are there any tracks that didn't perform commercially as well as you hoped that you personally really love and think deserve to be heard more?
Yeah, there were many, many tracks. Yeah, I released a lot music the last 10 years. I don't know, around 200 own tracks, or with remixes around 250 tracks.
Wow.
But yeah, and there were a lot of singles releases.
Is there one in particular? Like for me personally, I can think of one of my songs where I'm like, I really think that deserved more love. Like, what about you? There must be one in your head where you're like, man, that song really should be heard more.
No, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, no.
Okay.
So yeah.
Just all of them that didn't do
Yeah,
as well as you hoped.
I'm a bit angry about when it's not working, or frustrated or like this, but I try to forget this 2 months
Okay.
later, because yeah. So if you always not fine with if a release is not working, so you have you get an angry producer at the end. So yeah, it's better to forget this trial and error thing, this error things.
That's a good lesson for
That's a
me.
part of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely a good lesson for
Yeah.
me because I get
But
too
it's
personally attached.
totally true. The most, or a lot of tracks I liked a lot. I would like people like it too, or
Yeah.
like it more, or listen to it more.
Yeah.
But maybe I will see. I will bring out my next album in March 2025, and yeah, I have. I hope that will give it a push to some older tracks, because there are it will be only own compositions on the album, no remixes and no
Right.
cover songs.
Still going to be
I guess
originals.
20 originals, 20 owns
Cool.
tracks, and so I hope that some older releases from 2018 or 19 on it, yeah, maybe we'll get a new push, or a new audience or
Yeah.
attention. So yeah.
So obviously you've collaborated with like pretty much everyone in the scene. That's one of the ways I think a lot of people discover you because you've done so many collaborations.
Yeah.
If you could do a collab with anyone from any genre, dead or alive, who would it be?
Good question, but Jamie Berry would be great. So we have
Yeah.
no Jamie Berry, Wolfgang Lohr
Right.
collaboration in this genre. It would be awesome to make to work with a track from Caravan Palace to remix this. This would be, but they are so good. I don't know if it's needed, but some older tracks maybe could be very interesting from them. This would be a great thing, and a collab with other artists. I don't know really. It would be great to have a collab with some bigger artists. So it's good for the reach. It's good for the audience to get a bigger audience. So, but I had non-specific artists on my mind.
But
No.
what about personally, like your musical heroes and stuff? Like I'm talking dead or alive. So it could be,
Yeah. Okay.
it could be like Cab Calloway or someone,
Yeah.
or Elvis,
Yeah.
or like
Okay.
from any genre as well. You mentioned earlier Madness. Like what about
Yeah.
Wolfgang Lohr Madness collab?
Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone, just like
Yeah.
let your imagination run
Yeah.
wild. Who would it be?
Then it would be maybe Prodigy,
Okay.
Madness, maybe.
Yeah.
the younger madness. They are not now older guys.
Less mad now.
But the old style. Yeah, to work with Frank Sinatra would be great. But this is really far away, of course.
Yeah,
he's not living anymore.
We're talking fantasy collab.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
But I think if Frank Sinatra would be awesome. So to make a track with him with an orchestra with strings and so on for maybe a soundtrack for a movie or so. So on, this would be great. Yeah.
And tell us something about yourself outside of music that people don't know. Wolfgang Lohr as a person. What's something that would people who love your music but don't know about you personally would be interested to learn?
Yeah, I do a lot of sport daily. So I go out for running 2 times a week, around 10 kilometers for an hour. I go to the gym. Yeah, it's not only for the health. It's for the head as well,
mental
for the brain,
health, yeah.
for mental health. So, and I'm vegan since 2014.
Oh wow! So that's something I didn't even know.
Yeah, mostly vegetarian, but I started in 2014 with vegan. And this I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know if anybody like this. People think so and so, but for me it's cool if no animals are.
I think it's
harmed.
Again, it's very different now to how it used to be, isn't it? Like veganism is much more mainstream now.
It's more mainstream. And in Berlin, you have many restaurants and supermarkets with products. And if you're cooking for yourself at home, it's easy. So it's very tasty as well. So you have a wide range of cool vegetables and
Yeah, wicked. I didn't know about that about you. So that's an interesting thing for me to learn as well. Okay.
And I like good coffee and red wine as well.
Yeah,
so,
nice man. I'm with you on that one. So any final words, because we're wrapping up now. So any final words for your fans of your music and the listeners?
Yes, final words. Thanks a lot to all listeners around the world for supporting my music and the electro swing genre as well. Stay curious, excited for the next year, for new music, and be open-minded for new styles and for new artists, newcomers and so on, and support all of them, because this is very important that this genre could be alive.
This section is going to be called Shameless Plugs. Is there anything that you would like to promote or shout about, upcoming releases, anything that you want to personally promote?
Yeah, important thing for me is my album next year, because I've never released an album, because the last thing was only a compilation of radio edits, and it was mixed with cover songs and remixes and so on. 14 years now. This is my first album.
Your debut album. It's crazy.
It's very, I have to release it really soon. And it will come out in March, around 20 own tracks. And this is then my really own thing and my only signature release with own originals. And this is very important to me, and I would like to feedback for it, and maybe would be great if listeners or followers will listen to it, and
I'm sure they will, mate. But that's very cool. Do you have a specific release date for it in March?
Yes, the release date for the album would be the 14th of March.
14th of March.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Make note of that, guys. Put that in your diaries. 14th of March. Wolfgang Lohr, one of the biggest electro swing artists, been around for 14 years. Debut album. So, Wolfgang, thank you very, very much for being my very first guest on the Electro Swing podcast.
Thanks you, and thanks for having me. Very cool, and
very welcome indeed.
Wish you all the good in the future, all the best in the future for your podcast.
Thank you very much, man.
And series now here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for everything you've done for the scene as well.
Thank you.
Every artist you've collaborated with, I'm sure, says the same thing, is very grateful and just helping move things forward as you do. So, big thanks, man.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
So there you have it, swingers. That was the very first episode of the brand new Electro Swing Podcast with me, Offbeat, and my incredible guest, Wolfgang Lohr. If you haven't already, make sure you check out Wolfgang and Electro Swing Thing online. Links available in the description. And also make sure you follow us at Electro Swing Podcast on all major social platforms. Let me know what you think in the comments and who else you'd like to see me interview. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode of the Electro Swing Podcast, and I can't wait to catch you then.